Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 23 updates and spoilers. What's going on? Hope you're all having a great day. Yay! Okay, so today's house guests of the day are Catherine B. and the T of Texas. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you. We appreciate it so much. And thank you for the mail. You sent such lovely cards, and it was very, very sweet of you. So thank you for that. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. All right. So, before we get started, got to thank all of our patrons from yesterday as well. So we've got Donnie Greenwell, Destiny's Ma, Nick Silverstein, Alex Garza, Jefferson Tucker, Christine, Camila Gamba, Darby C, Michelle Noel Creations, MCD, Patty W, Jason, Nini Girl, and Mary Patricia Dorsey. Thank you all so much. You're wonderful. And super chats. Oh, I said we were going to thank our patrons. Super chat. Those were our super chatters. And super chat is a great way to support the channel. So thank you for doing that. I want to welcome you all here today. Thank you for being here. And I see we already have some super chats for today. So let me just answer your questions before we get going here. Nick Silverstein, thank you so much. Nick says, I don't know how you have the patience to sit and watch this season after season and thoroughly report on it, but you are doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. It's a passion project of mine. I've been watching this show since season 1, and there's just something about it that keeps me coming back season after season, even though we've had some stinkers in there. No, I don't know. There's just something about it. But thank you guys for coming back year after year. And Sheena123, thank you so much. Sheena says, did you hear that Big Brother 23 finale is September 29th? Is it? Okay, I didn't know that. And the Survivor 41 premiere is the 22nd. Ooh, I can't wait for Survivor to come back. I've been missing it. And he also asked, if I was on this season, who would I want to align with? I would love to align with Tiffany, Claire, and who else was I going to say? Azah. Those are my girls. And Hannah. I would definitely try to do a girls alliance because I feel like there's a lot of really strong women this season. So that's my answer. But thank you all so much. Let's get going here. Woo! When we left off yesterday, the house guests are gearing up for the power veto ceremony. Okay, so we had Alyssa and Kyland up on the block. We already know Derek X won the power of veto. I also want to say, too, if you didn't see yesterday's spoiler, definitely check it out because there was a ton of information in there, important information. So you don't want to miss that. But Derek X was saying all along that he wanted to use the power veto on Kyland. That was the plan. He wanted to do what Frenchie wanted as well, and Frenchie was on board with that. But then Frenchie started pushing hard for LD to use the LD. I always think LD and then I think of Larry David. He was pushing hard for Lil D to use the power veto on Alyssa or leave the nominations the same. So it's pretty obvious he wants Kyland to stay up on the block no matter what because he is feeling so threatened by Kyland's social game. So that being said, Frenchie is operating under the guise of being worried that Alyssa wouldn't have the votes to stay against Travis. He doesn't give a crap if Alyssa went. He's more concerned with Kyland going. So Lil D was staying strong, and he saved Kyland with the power veto. Woo! And Frenchie put up Travis in his place, which means we've got Travis versus Alyssa up on the block. All right. So then Alyssa and Christian had a chat in the Have Not room after the POV ceremony, and they agree they don't trust Xavier. They are in the Slaughterhouse alliance with him, but Christian says the second this team's twist is done, Xavier is out of here. Damn! Are you serious? So Alyssa's like, X is out for himself. We can't have that. Who's not out for themselves on this game? You should be out for yourself when you're playing Big Brother, but whatever. So they agree. They can even trust Frenchie over Xavier. Really? But Christian says the problem is that Frenchie's nuts. He's loyal, but he goes a little bonkers. Is he loyal though? I mean, I think he's loyal until he's not. I think he's loyal until he's like, you know what? I have no more use for you. I feel threatened by you. So I'm going to make this move. And he'll come up with some BS excuse for why he's betraying someone. So anyway, Christian says we have to keep Frenchie, Kyland, and Xavier all in the loop somewhat. We can't just cut them off completely and then they start freaking out. But we've got to be strategic about what information we do give those guys. Anyway, Alyssa and Christian, they're feeling good about each other. They feel good about Brent, Whitney, and Big D. All right. So then Azah and Xavier were chatting in the yacht room. And Azah says she's really glad that Kyland's off the block. Me too. And she feels confident that Alyssa is going to stay this week. And Xavier agrees with that. It does seem like at this point, Alyssa has the votes to stay, but you never know what's going to happen over the next few days, right? Could go either way. You never know. Honestly, I kind of would like to see it flip, but that's for another time. So they also agree this week has been so damn stressful for no reason. Like, for what? They are mentally and physically exhausted. Me too. Xavier says at this point in the game, Frenchie just needs to stop talking. Please. Part of me wants him to keep talking, though, because I want him to, keep digging the hole deeper and deeper so that they just, get rid of them. But for his game to be successful, yes, I think the best thing he could do right now is just stop talking and try and fade into the background. So, yeah. Azah says Travis is going to do his thing to try and stay this week. I'm sure he's going to try and rally the votes, right? But hopefully all the women are going to vote him out. He hasn't really talked to the women. And I think it was in this conversation, Xavier was saying, Travis has a girlfriend back home. He's trying to be respectful, blah, blah, blah. You still talk to people in a non-romantic way, But they agree that Travis is very smart. So this is a big deal to get him out week 1. So then looking forward, Azah is thinking we should go for this next HOH. We should make some moves here. But Xavier doesn't want to. He feels like he's in a really good position right now. Well, he's got a lot of people not trusting him. But he feels like he's in a good position, and he doesn't want to compromise that. Well, Azah really wants this next HOH, and I'd love that for her. So she shares her plans with Xavier. She says, if I win, I don't trust Brent. So she would definitely be putting Brent up on the block. And she says, I would also put up Derek X. Not because she wants him to go, not because he's a target of hers, but she just wants to appease Frenchie, who's on her team and will be pushing hard for it. I think it would be a mistake to put up Derek X because I think that the votes could be there to get rid of him instead of Brent, and then you have Brent pissed off at you. So I think if she did win HOH, she would probably rethink that a bit and change her nominations. But anyway, yeah. She says she would put up Brent and Derek X, but Brent, of course, would be the target. So Xavier says he loves Brent as a person, but look what happened this week. Brent was on the outskirts of everything, and then Frenchie and Brent got really close this week, and now Brent is involved in everything. He is Frenchie's right-hand man at this point. So something to think about. All right. Speaking of Brent and Frenchie up in the HOH room, Brent says everyone right now has to trust that the Slaughterhouse is open for business. So he says, let's keep it that way. Make sure no one messes anything up. Good luck with that. But he says, we're going to make it to the top 8 because we have numbers. And then if we still can't trust Kyland at that point, when we're in the top 8, he'll be our first option to get rid of, but not before that. He says, until then, we need to protect each other because, again, we have the numbers. And French is like, yeah, we're golden. We're golden. He didn't seem very enthusiastic during this conversation. But Brent says everyone just needs to not be paranoid. Everyone needs to just shut up, be loyal, trust, and let's just do it. Brent also brings up that he and Frenchie have a Final 2 deal. And oh my God, there's so many Final 2 deals already. And so many of them include Frenchie. But this whole thing is not built to last. This Butchers Slaughterhouse alliance, so many of them are already talking about who they don't trust and who they want to target from the group. They're not going to make it to the final 8 unless there's a miracle. No way. So anyway, moving on. Derek X was talking to Azah and Tiffany in the Sea Glass room, and Lil D is telling them all about the freaking Frenchie roller coaster ride that he has been on this week, and it is a doozy. So, Frenchie, he says, was all on board with me using the power veto on Kyland until like 6 hours before the ceremony, like the night before the ceremony. Why are we scurrying around like rats in the middle of the night? He's like, why couldn't he have brought this to me sooner and we could have really talked about it? But Tiffany suspects they were effing with Frenchie. And at that point, the feed's cut, which makes me think they meant production. It sounds like she thinks that they were messing with Frenchie in the diary room and whatever they were saying was making him really paranoid. I mean, it's definitely possible. But Frenchie is just a whole complete mess. So Lil D also thinks that Travis had something to do with it. He thinks Travis was doing a pretty good job with Frenchie, trying to convince him to not put him up on the block. And I would say I think there was an element of that as well. I think it was a combination of things. I think Frenchie is also just like way overplaying, way overdoing it. He's forgetting that this is a marathon and not a sprint. So he's already thinking like, oh, I can't beat Kyland in the end. It's week 1. Okay, but anyway, Tiffany says Travis still has 3 days to get votes. And she says, low key, Travis should already count that he has 3 votes from me, Claire, and Kyland because we're all on the same team and we don't want to lose a teammate. I feel like Kyland wants to vote with the Slaughterhouse / Butchers to show that he's loyal. But like, judging how the first half of the week went, I don't know how this vote is going to shake out. It could very well still flip for Travis to stay. So who knows what's going to happen. But Tiffany says if we lose a number from our team, we're going to look weak and people are just going to start picking us off. That is definitely a possibility. But I don't really see anybody targeting Tiffany right now. Maybe Claire, maybe Kyland, Anyway, Frenchie and Derek F were chatting in the HOH room, and Frenchie's like, why are people acting weird around me? Every time I walk into a room, people scurry. Maybe, just maybe, it's because you've been acting freaking insane this week, and also you don't have any power anymore. The POV ceremony is over. He does not have any more power this week. So maybe that's why people are like, I got to get away from this insanity, this sinking ship. Like, I don't have to kiss your ass anymore. So then Frenchie randomly says, we need more footage. How are we going to have final 2 and not have any footage? I'm sorry, are you producing now? Like, what is going on here? But then Frenchie says the diary room was asking him about the Slaughterhouse, and I guess they told him that he needs to bring everyone into one room and officially form this alliance because they need to have their, like, packaged, easily digestible formation of this alliance where they can show, like, this is the alliance all in a circle. This is them doing their hand whatever. So it's kind of, like, crazy because they're asking him to bring, like, 8 people into a room together. And I don't know if they were like, you need to do this right now. Or if it was like, just do it before the end of the week or whatever. So I don't know what exactly they told him, but it's almost like they're trying to sabotage him by being like, you need to gather 8 people in the room at the same time. Big D is worried that it's going to make it really obvious to the rest of the house that they're all working together. Exactly. Like, seriously, that's very risky. But Frenchie's like, no. They only need like a 15-second clip. So we can just get it done quickly. And he says, we have the numbers now to do whatever the hell we want for the rest of the game anyway. Oh my God, is he serious? This is going to be a hard and long fall. He seriously thinks that this Slaughterhouse alliance is just gonna like go through the whole entire season. They got this wrapped up. Dude, it is week 1. Absolutely insane. So anyway, Big D says, I love you for that attitude. But I'm here to mellow you out. He's like, do you really want to draw that line right now and just tell everybody that we're all working together? He says somebody outside of the alliance can win an HOH and put 2 of us up, and then we won't have the numbers anymore. For real. So Frenchie's like, well, I want to make sure that we're all solid together. We need to make this official, all in the same room. And he says some of the people in the alliance don't even know who else is in it. But then he starts whispering that the diary room wants the footage, you know, like the storyline. So I guess he's trying to be production's pet. I don't know. So Big D's like, okay, I mean, if you think we can pull this off, I trust you. Big D also wanted to confirm again their final 2 deal and their final 3 deal with Xavier. I don't think that's going to happen. Because Frenchie is already like, I don't trust Xavier. I'm afraid of Xavier. But Frenchie's like, yeah. So then Big D is saying, just like Brent, the Slaughterhouse has to stick together. We can't let Brent and Christian go after each other at any point. All right. So then Frenchie leaves to go get everyone. And Big D is alone in the HOH room. And he says to the cameras, Big Daddy Frenchie wearing me out. How do you think we feel? It is too much. But Xavier ended up being the first one in the HOH room waiting with Big D, and they agree this whole thing is ridiculous, this Slaughterhouse meeting, and they agree that the cookout is never doing this shit. They are never getting everyone together all at once. Good, because you're not dum-dums. But they also discuss, speaking of the cookout, they're not really happy with the way that Kyland has been playing the last few days. They don't like that he's got this thing with, like, he's close to Derek X. He's close to Travis, I guess. So they also discuss potentially cutting Kyland at some point and pulling in Hannah in his place as, like, a full-time member. Why can't you all be in it together? Just pull her in and keep Kyland too. So anyway, eventually everyone arrives in the HOH room, and this whole thing definitely took way more than 15 seconds. So just a reminder of who's all officially in the Slaughterhouse Alliance. You have Frenchie, Big D, Xavier, Christian, and Kyland. They are also in the Butchers. But then the extra 3 people, Alyssa, Whitney, and Brent, they help to make up the Slaughterhouse. So once everyone's there, Frenchie says, someone from our group has to win HOH next week, because he is like pooping his pants, freaking out that he's going to be a target next week. And they're all like, yeah, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. So then Frenchie asks, everyone's in this 100%, right? We're all 100% in this. We're going all the way. And they're like, yeah, of course. And then they come up with their little signals that they're going to do. They were talking about like all touching their feet after the eviction, or like adjusting their shoes or something to signify a BB toe tag, like after they send someone out. They also are doing this like hand chop in a circle. Y'all are nasty. I don't like it. So anyway, that happened. So now we can all laugh together when they show that on the episode. All right. Later, this is actually hilarious. Later, Claire and Sarah Beth are in the storage room, and Claire says, hey, so I saw Frenchie pull a big group of people up to the HOH earlier. Yes, thank you. Sarah Beth's like, yeah, it made me a little bit nervous, but maybe he was asking them about their votes. Come on. And Claire's like, well, it definitely made me nervous. So they also touch base on the vote for this week. At this point, they're both saying they want to keep Alyssa around. And Sarah Beth says she's feeling pretty good going into next week. She doesn't feel like she's in danger at all. They both feel good with each other's teams if any of them were to win the HOH. But Sarah Beth says she would be a little bit nervous if Lil D won HOH because she's not really sure what he would do, and she heard that he was throwing her name out there. So Claire says it's really tricky with Lil D because it seems like he doesn't have anyone at this point, especially with Travis going this week potentially. She says she doesn't want to get rid of someone who doesn't have anyone. I mean, really, right? You want to try and scoop that person up and take out a bigger target. But Sarah Beth is still like, yeah, but he threw my name out, so I don't know. But anyway, more people are planning out who they would target next week if they won HOH. So Alyssa was chatting with Brent, and she's saying she would put up Derek X and Hannah. Derek, because he didn't use the power veto on her, even though she asked him to. And she told him if he did use it, he would be safe, but he didn't. And then Hannah, because I guess Alyssa asked Hannah if I was still up on the block with Kyland on Thursday, would you vote to keep me? And she said, no. Ah! All right. Also, Tiffany and Azah were chatting last night, and we already heard that Azah would put up Brent and Derek X if she were to win HOH. She also shares with Tiffany that Whitney would be a potential replacement nominee, and it seemed like Tiffany was also trying to convince her not to put up Derek X, which I think is very smart on Tiffany's part, because I think Derek X would potentially go. I think Brent's got a lot of allies right now. But yeah, Tiffany does not want to be the one to put up Whitney because they have that like motherly bond. So she's fine with Azah doing it though, because they feel like Whitney is one of the bigger female threats this season. But Tiffany would also want to target Brent, and she would potentially put him up next to Alyssa. Okay, moving on. Team Jokers finally had a meeting in the HOH room. I mean, it's a little late for that. Things are kind of already set for this week, so, you know. But anyway, just to remind you, Team Jokers, we've got Frenchie, Azah, Big D, and Brittany, and they're talking about next week, what they're going to do. Frenchie is saying, oh, I wish I could play in the next HOH competition. No thanks. I think we're good here. I think we're ready to move on. So thanks, but no thanks. No. All right. Big D is telling Frenchie, you should be fine next week. You don't need to worry because you did such a beautiful job with your HOH this week. You don't have to kiss his ass anymore. He doesn't have any power. But anyway, Brittany says that she's going to be going for this HOH, especially if it's endurance. She's going to stay up there until all the people that she's not comfortable with are out. I think she feels she hasn't really talked game much with Brent. She did bring him up, and of course, Frenchie's like, oh, I got Brent. Like, you don't have to worry. And they're like, wait, you don't have to worry? Or like, we all don't have to worry? Good question. But Azah says she's going to be going for this next HOH too. So Frenchie asks her, oh, what would you do? Like, do you already have a plan? And Azah's like, I don't know yet. Yes, she does. But she's not going to tell Frenchie. So Frenchie's like, anybody piss you off yet? Anybody make you mad? Azah says, nope. I'm sure she would want to go after Frenchie if they weren't teammates. But Frenchie's like, well, are you going to be like me and not tell anybody and then just put people up? And Azah says, I'm going to be different from you and take each day by day. I'm not going to make my decision every 2 seconds. She is so over him. And I feel like, judging by Frenchie's reaction to Kyland's comment the other night about how, like, oh, I've heard 100% before. Like, I heard 100% that I wasn't going to be going up on the block. But here we are. And the way Frenchie freaked out about that, I thought for sure he'd freak out here too. But he must have, like, had some food and not just Coke. Or maybe, like, he actually slept. I don't know. He was like, smart move. And then when he saw that, like, Brittany and Big D were laughing, he was like, touche. Woo! Okay, but anyway, Frenchie says the longer he's here, the more beneficial it is for their team. And Oz is like, wait. The longer the 4 of us are here, not just you, the longer the 4 of us are here, the better off our team is. Got to make sure that the whole team is safe. She is so done with him. Okay, so Frenchie says he's probably going to want to play in the wild card competition next week because, again, he's freaking out that people are going to come after him after his, disastrous HOH week. But Big D says we should wait and see who wins HOH first because maybe it's going to be somebody like Tiffany and you don't have to worry. All right. Meanwhile, Sarah Beth and Kyland were chatting in the Have Not room. Ooh, this is some interesting stuff. We saw these two make a final two deal the other day. And judging by this conversation, it's pretty legit. They are definitely putting each other over the other stuff that they've got going on. Kyland warns Sarah Beth that Frenchie will bluff about knowing about alliances to get people to spill that tea. So he's telling Sarah Beth, don't crack. Do not tell him about our final two. But guess what? Sarah Beth already spilled some tea, but it was to Kyland, not to Frenchie. Sarah Beth told Kyland that she's aligned with Tiffany and Claire. Remember, they just made a 3-person alliance called the Jackpot, and she's already told Kyland about it. And in return, Kyland has spilled about the Butchers and the Slaughterhouse. So he named all the people. He explained how it all came together. Damn. Now, I don't know if he's told Sarah Beth about the cookout. I haven't heard him talk about it with her, so I'm thinking no, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But Sarah Beth, now that she knows about the Slaughterhouse, she's kind of worried that she's not in the majority group. And it seems like Kyland is telling her, you don't have to worry about this right now because I don't know where it ranks with everything else that people have going on. So it might not even be a serious thing. So I wouldn't worry about it. All right. So then they go through all the house guests and talk about if they feel safe with them, if they were to win HOH. They both are feeling iffy about Whitney. And then the feed's cut. So we didn't get to hear who else they were not really feeling, but I'm pretty sure they said later on they wouldn't feel totally comfortable with Brent. Yeah. And Sarah Beth is saying a long-term goal she wants Hannah gone because Hannah is smart. She really knows the game. And she says, I don't want to compete against Hannah. I think she's going to be a really strong competitor. She says, I love her as a person, but I want her gone. Oh, no. But Kyland's like, I don't think Hannah would target us. I don't think we need to worry about her right now. So chill. But anyway, Sarah Beth asks, what about Lil D? How important of an ally is he to you? I know you guys are close, so, say the word and I won't go after him if it's going to mess up your game. So Kyland says, on a personal level, he really wants Lil D there badly. He really enjoys him. But on a game level, after everything that happened this week, he's a liability. So if he's got to go, he's got to go. Damn. All right. And then this is where it gets kind of funny because Kyland says he thinks that Frenchie might be the best player in the game. And Sarah Beth says, I don't think so at all. He is messy. He's emotional. He gets paranoid. He thinks too much. Yeah. And Kyland's like, I don't know. I think it's part of his gameplay. He's trying to throw people off. Sarah's like, no. Sarah Beth says, I don't trust Frenchie. And I am not giving him any real information for the rest of this game. Nah. She says, I would take a shot at him pre-jury. Not next week or the week after, but pre-jury. Why wait? Just do it. It's fun. Just do it. But after that, Kyland clarifies. He's like, okay, I misspoke. I'm not saying that Frenchie is the best, but he knows the most about the game. I mean, I don't even know that that's necessarily true. I think Tiffany maybe, and they did say Tiffany also knows a lot about the game, but they like her. They're not trying to get rid of her right now. They love Tiffany, and I do too. Tiffany's wonderful. So today, Claire and Tiffany were chatting about the vote, and they're like, we don't want to leave our teammate Travis just hanging with no votes. Even if he is going to be the one going, they feel like that's really crappy. So they may throw him some votes. Also, you never know what could happen over the next few days anyway. It could flip. And I remember Alyssa was talking about a possible campaign that Travis could use. And it pretty much lined up with what I was thinking. If Travis was smart, he would go around to everyone and be like, look, Alyssa is super tight with Frenchie. If you're tired of Frenchie's BS, keep me and get rid of one of Frenchie's numbers and we'll go after Frenchie. That is a great campaign. I don't know if he's going to come up with that. I feel like Travis is kind of like waiting a little bit before he really starts campaigning. I think he wants to wait until the vote gets closer. But you never know. It could flip. It could very well flip. So Tiffany mentions not wanting this to be a season where everyone votes with the house. Thank you. I just enjoy Tiffany more and more every day. Tiffany is thebomb.com. And it really does feel like she's one of us. One of us. She's a live feed viewer. I think she's also on Twitter. So, like, she's great. She's wonderful. Okay, so there hasn't been a ton of game happening yet today. The house guests are all trying to, like, pull pranks on each other. And I think there was also talk of a toga party happening at some point because it's Kyland's birthday. Happy birthday, Kyland. So they're having a lot of fun with that. Travis and Alyssa are going around a little bit, just checking on votes, trying to, like, test the waters a little bit. At this point, again, not looking good for Travis, but you never know what could happen. Also, I hate that I have to even say this, but it looks like a new alliance has formed today. It's called the French Kisses. And at first it seemed like they were just like messing around and like coming up with fun names and stuff. But now it seems like it's not a joke. I don't know how seriously people are going to take it, but it's definitely not like a joke. So the French Kisses is made up by, of course, Frenchie, Claire, Tiffany, Hannah, and Azza. And Frenchie's like, oh, we also need to pull in Sarah Beth because she was talking about like how much she wants to be in a girls' alliance. I'm sorry, are you a woman? Are you a girl? Because you seem to be in this alliance, so. But anyway, you know that Frenchie is just like, oh my God, this is the best. Because all the last few days, he's been talking about how Kyland is so close to all the women and they would all keep him and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, he's trying to start something up with the women now, too. And, of course, he's not building these bonds with these women, like, one-on-one. But it's always just, like, him approaching a big group and trying to, like, win the women. You know what I mean? So it just feels, like, really gross, and I don't like it. But they were also discussing wanting Brittany and Big D to vote with them as well. They wouldn't be officially in the alliance, but they would be part of the voting. I can't. Okay, so we're going to pick it up there tomorrow. We've got 2 days left until the eviction. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when the two nominees really start to campaign. Hi! Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
I almost fell through the door.
I heard you like.
I stubbed my foot.
Oh no, Minnie! Hello, baby girl.
That would have been the ultimate spoiler if I had crashed through the door.
That would have been so sad. Okay,
and funny.
So before we get to our super chatters today, I have a shameless plug. Today, our vegan cookbook, our plant-based air fryer cookbook, is available as a Kindle book.
Yeah, he's getting it.
Yeah, so if you guys are into Kindle, like I am, check it out. I think it's like $6.99 or something.
Yeah.
I think also Amazon is doing some sort of a Kindle
unlimited.
No. I mean, it might be on unlimited.
It is. Sure. It's free if you have unlimited. Okay.
But I think they're doing some sort of promotion for the summer where you get like points when you buy Kindle books, and I think ours is like 35 books or something. I mean, 35 points.
Yeah. I think books too.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fun.
So read. It's good.
Reading is wonderful.
Reading is fundamental.
Yes,
All
it
right,
is.
I have to take him out.
Okay.
Come on.
So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. I also want to thank all of our super chatters, and I want to add on, I think Jefferson Tucker just added another question here. So let me just get you in there before I read this list. Okay. So Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. He said, I forgot to ask, puppet shows this year? If so, please use a bottle of French dressing. That's a great idea. We are planning on doing the puppet shows. We might be changing the day that we post them because weekends are just like impossible at this point. So we might be doing it a different day. But if you're wondering why we haven't had a puppet show yet, we usually don't start until after the first week is over because we need some material to work with, you know. We're gonna try and do it. We are planning on doing it. I'm just so overwhelmed right now with everything. Like I barely have a second to breathe. So we're gonna try and squeeze it in, but please have patience with us. Thank you. Okay. So I want to thank all of our super chatters. So Nick Silverstein, thank you so much. Sheena123, thank you so much. Jody Cortez, thank you so much. Adley Bruges, thank you so much. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much twice. Christina, thank you so much. Travell K, thank you so much. And Lynn Hurst, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Like, seriously, we would not be able to do this without your support. I know Matt and Jessica got the cookbook already. Oh my gosh, they are wonderful. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear their thoughts on it. I'm so excited to hear all of your thoughts on it. I'm also nervous, but I'm very excited. Oh, okay. We also have the real VB. Thank you so much. And she asks, hey, Maddie, do you have the approximate time of the convo with Azza and French Toast? I need to see this. Heart your updates. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm trying to think. So the team meeting. Oh, I don't remember the exact time. If you use the Liquidated's BB viewer like extension thing on Chrome, I believe there was a bookmark for it. I'm trying to think, what time did that happen? It was definitely last night. I don't remember the exact time, but also if you check out like any of the update websites, like Jokers, Online Big Brother, Hamster Watch, I'm sure had it as well. Who else is good? I'm trying to think of who else has really good updates. Morty's TV has good updates. And then there's a lot of good Twitter accounts, which are very helpful and very useful because you can see the time that the tweet was posted. So you can just go back like a minute before that or whatever. And they are very quick with their updates. So like if you follow BB updates, they are like incredible. Of course, Hamster Watch, incredible. Yeah. So if you check those out, you'll be able to find it. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. So thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, much love. Bye.